Translational research in Indonesia, chance and challenges of play-based research. Let's welcome Hanu.
Thank you. Well, as you can see over there, there's a bit of change in the title, and that's okay. The content is still my study. Last minute change before Maria asked me, what's that? How is your PowerPoint going? How's your PowerPoint going? And then, okay, they do submit that. And then, yep, changing the title. So, there's an enter. Okay. In the light of global shift, global change in terms of higher education, governments and universities all around the world, they try to redefine the roles of higher education. And so does Indonesia. In 2012, the Indonesian government published a decree, and that's the name of the decree, Indonesia's Qualifications Framework, as well as the MOIC, or we call that as the Ministry of Education and Culture. They published another law, let's say so, a policy, which is called as National Standards of Higher Education, in which in that policy it stated that the final year of undergraduate students, they need to do research. And then the fourth year, well actually not only fourth year, but the third year and the fourth year, they need to develop their research skills. Okay, but then, just to cut the presentations, otherwise I can use the whole sessions like 1 hour to explain everything of my research. There are like problems that Indonesian scholars, they know everything. They know everything. I mean, like, they know everything about TEFL or teaching English as foreign language. They well versed on that, and they know a lot, like everything again about research processes. Like in qualitative research, you do this, and that. In quantitative research, you do this and that, do that, this and that. But then, take a look at the second problem. Even though that this is research, doing research is an obligatory for undergraduate students, but then this is so unpopular to them. They get bored. That's what happened. Students, well, not only in my experience, what I've experienced, they tend to finish their undergraduate study and then did their research, or now do their research for the sake of certificate. You know what I'm saying, right? So yes, they're not really engaged in what they have to get during their study. So it hit me a lot. Like I was one of the research trainer at that time, and then what is that? It makes me reflect that what kind of pedagogy of research that I can utilize to bring a transformative impact to my students. It leads me to go here to CDU and meet my supervisors, beautiful supervisors, and then discuss a lot with my other supervisors, which are professors in education, one based in Thailand and then the other one based in Indonesia. So I accepted that maybe Indonesian lecturers or scholars, they're not research trainers, just like me, so that's why I stayed here to do my Ph.D. But then, when I read lots of references during my Ph.D., it turns out that actually the problems is not only occurring in Indonesia, it is everywhere, all around the world, if I can say that. But yes, according to my readings. Now we take a look at that. What this expert said. This is Professor Barry Thomas. He is a professor in education in University of Birmingham, UK. He stated that education research is focused more on theory building. So in terms of doing research, they tend to use theory as a shell to explain what they find in the field. So let's say they have data. So okay, what theory A can explain about this data? That's it. So why he stated over there that theory development, then building risky connections among what, let's say, seemingly irrelevant information is not too important. That's what he found. Yeah. But then, actually, when we do research, how to work with our data more, and then, let's say, most, is more important than what? Than getting the list of what? Than getting the list of the data. If we just take a look from one angle, let's say, from one single theory, we will just get the data from that aspect or from that perspective. And we're not, and the question is actually, where's what? Innovations, let's say so. And go back to transformative research training pedagogy. What is that actually? When we take a look at that, Thomas, Widya, Swetberg, Biesta, Alan Edward, as well as Einstein, just realized that I use Einstein as well. Einstein here even stated that he promotes a kind of spatchcock use of evidence in which he insisted for scientists to play with almost any seemingly irrelevant information. There, we can put that transformative research training pedagogy, what heavily stress on exploratory, playful, crisscrossing discipline. Why not? So, what we did in our study, so you can take a look over there. So first, we developed a framework to for our data collections as well as data analysis, in which we use the Harvard Business School, so HBS is Harvard Business School's model. And then, well, it's not certain theory for you to know it. It's just, what is that? A list of questions. There are three questions over there. What is involved, and then what experience that need to be provided, and then the third, what you have done in relation to your job. And then for the data analysis, we developed a framework for analyzing data, in which we have 6 questions over there for innovations. If I can mention, the first is what is the object of the study, and then the method of the study, and then the impact of beneficiaries of your study, and then the critical, generative, and as well as political perspective. And then the last, for the data analysis, we also developed a process for linking HBS model with our framework that has been published. Now, if you can take a look over there, I've mentioned to you like 6 questions for the framework. But as we go to our data and analyze the data, we grow. What is that? Let's say we don't stick to our 6 frameworks, yeah, but we grow. There you can take a look for the for framing the object of the study. We focus on the new perspectives, and you can see over there we have 3 questions. So not only what is the object of your study, and then in the methods, we would like to take a look at the new tools that were developed. And then the next, so in relations to beneficiaries or impact, we're not only focused to participants, but also focused to the students, in which participants, the lecturers, so that they engage with the students. And then we take a look as well as at the critical, generative and political aspect as well. Okay, so this is the HBS model that we adapted. So not only basic question like what is involved, but then what does involved in the what does the teaching of research involve, and then what experiences need to be provided for the job to be done. So the job over there is teaching of research, and then what you have done. It's not only what you have done, but then what you have done to provide the experiences in point B in the area of teaching research. And then for data collection methods, first I distributed questionnaires to like 150 participants, and then involved them in workshops for focus group discussions, and then in which after that they made their own plans, strategic plans for to be implemented in relations to change, in relations to innovations that need to be brought for teaching research. And then after that they made reports on that, on the strategic plans that they have implemented to their students. And then we also had distributed questionnaires for evaluations, and at the last, we have the interviews with the participants. Okay. What was that? Parts of the findings, actually. I can't show you all of the findings, let's say so, because there are like lots of it, hundreds of it. Just present you over there the themes and sub-themes that I identified in the data. There are 7 themes, as you can see over there: global relevance, national, scores, and unit design. And then pedagogy, stakeholder awareness. And then university funding, work-life and support, and then the last is personal research. So as you can see here, the left side of the table is the sub-themes, in which, let's say, under the personal research, we found that sub-themes. Now, so how to work, let's say, linking the HPA's model with the framework that we developed. So there, at the left side, you can see what new perspectives were engaged to describe the object of the study. And when we take a look at data, let's say data from respondent 1, we call it R1, the students remain status quo of doing research. They didn't move on, which means here that students in their research, mostly, if I can't say like 100%, but then 90%, they use or apply techniques, yeah, which is proposed in TESOL literatures in their research. Let's say, for example, so the use of ASQ3R strategy to improve students' reading ability. The use of what? Mimicking method to improve students' what? Grammar ability. So such things. So strategies, techniques, and theories from what? TESOL or TEFL, and then students apply that in the research. Here we put that under pedagogy theme, in which the sub-themes is challenge of planning teaching, and we argue over there that there are actually no clear process emerging from the descriptions provided by the lecture. So R1 there argued that's the argument, but then what is actually the things that you did in terms of that, in relations on that? They didn't explain it, he didn't or she didn't explain that. And that's also another example. We call that again as a challenge of planning teaching. Let's say Alto or lecture to be, we use different, what is that, naming, R1, L1. R is from questionnaires and L is from interviews. Which we just try to make a difference, which one is from the questionnaire, which one is from the interview. Also, over there stated that there is a fact that most of students do not understand research method designs. They come to see us with title, which mostly they had copied. They plagiarize. Here, there is no explanations again. It's difficult for us to see why actually students come with that problem. Why do they plagiarize? So we put that under that thing. Challenge of planning teaching of research, definitely. Okay, come to last, which is preliminary finding. Well, the findings show that yes, my participants are aware of change over there, that there need change to be implemented, yes, in terms of teaching research. But there is no knowledge of the process which is involved to bring creativity, to bring innovations to be applied in the field. And then the second, yes, definitely that the study helps us to understand that the challenge lies there in the field, but also it provides an opportunity for international universities, international academics, to reflect on the nature of building capacity. Well, I have to admit that Indonesia is not grow fast country or #1 country. So that's why we take a look at the West. How actually the Western academics do this and that, do research, you know what I'm saying? So that's why here there lies an opportunity for international universities. If I can say that in straightforward, we don't need no more content knowledge, let's say so, or less content knowledge. Helps us to understand the questions of our research and helps us to understand the way to answer the questions. Yes, thank you very much, Bayu. Yeah.
Thank you. Any questions?
Yes.
Okay, I'll wait. You go first.
Yeah, I was curious because I actually teach research methods.
Yes.
Has there been any, say, product that you generate? So perhaps as part of pedagogy, I don't know, but that the students can, whatever they design, perhaps be published with their teachers, lecturers. Is there such a move towards that, or is there?
Yeah. These are the things that we have developed is the framework. The framework itself, we call it Framework for Innovations. We try to develop that, and then it turns out to be valuable, at least for our own research, in which we use that framework, in our own research, in our own finding, let's say so, to take a look where is the innovations that can grow. And that actually has been used as well by other colleagues, in which he's waiting for his examinations result. Let's see.
Yeah, because I think they're more focused, it seems, as if the next generation in terms of outcome and output. So it's kind of like working backwards. If there's a carrot at the end or an apple, publication, whatever it might be, then working backwards in these are the processes.
Yeah, process is more important. Yeah, that's right.
I'm with you because I teach it and content is heavily
there in the
upon.
fields. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't like doing something and then going back and looking at, well, this was the content. We give you content first. And,
Yes,
Thank
you.
you.
Next question.
I'm exploring something that is similar. So I'm an art therapist, but I'm exploring like creative therapist pedagogy. So it's an immersion of like art, puppets, music, dance, play.
Yeah.
So like we are criticizing like all the Western framework. They're very heavy text-based and like concepts. So I was wondering if you would be looking at like different theories like decolonizing theory. You know, because like the play, I felt like it's not coming out so strong. It's not very visible for me. Like I don't get the sense that I don't really feel the playfulness.
Yeah.
So I was wondering like how does that come up like stronger in what are you trying to achieve? What are the students trying to achieve? Are you criticizing the whole framework that research is being done?
Yeah, we try to. So in terms of, let's say, the process of doing research, we're not heavily focused anymore on the procedures of doing research because everyone knows it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I employ qualitative research. Why? Let's say so because I love it. It's not only that, but we try to take a look at more on the process.
So are you gonna like be in the class and video?
Oh, it's not. It's not. Are you going to? Because I've finished.
Okay.
I'm going to submit inshallah soon. Yes, within this month, next month. Yes. So what I did, is that what you mean?
I was just like wondering how did you capture because different researchers would have like different content.
Yep. So what I did at that time, so the participants of my research are lecturers. So there are lecturers who teach research in terms of teaching in the classroom, that's one. And then the second is supervisors. So supervisors also teach research, right? Yes, so I mainly work with them, but then, not, because the one who, being hit by the policies are not only the lecturers, but then students. So we would like them to work out what have been discussed during the project. into the students. So we would like them to work out with the students with their challenges, or let's say barriers happen in the field, or it is successful, but then how it's successful, you know what I'm saying? Yes. So actually we work only with lectures. No, you can ask question.
I might respond to it.
Okay.
I think that even within the frame, I mean, if you look at the 6-point framework down there, you can use any theory, whatever you want. The question is the question that the framework doesn't ask you whether you chose the right theory, but whether you have actually examined the transformative impact of the research in relation to the beneficiaries of it. So whoever is the beneficiary and also yourself, how it impacted on your progress. So sometimes it has been a view that people pick a theory because it was just lying around and looked good. You know, I'm a feminist, I choose a feminist theory or something like this. But the study results to be like an island, literally. And you know, you can talk about feminism or colonialism till the cows come home, but there's a student in the classroom who needs to learn to read, or needs to learn to communicate in English. So, you know, you've got to solve that problem over your choices are actually transformative for the people who are going to benefit from those choices. And then so the questions are to help you to reflect, not to tell you what to do.
Okay, one last question.
May I know who are your respondents in this research? I mean,
Lectures.
yeah, the lecture where? I mean, in which
Oh.
universities in Indonesia?
In
Confidence.
okay. In an area of Indonesia.
Okay, in which type of university? I mean,
In East Java only.
Java only, but
East
it's
Java.
public, private, or
Both.
both? UNU. Universities, or I mean, in a more general public universities.
Both.
Both.
Yes. Both. Both could be.
Is there any success story? I mean, I see your research is kind of like
Or what? Critical?
not very
Common.
No, not very common. But maybe it's not showing the attempts of the government and also the universities in Indonesia in order to create a good framework. So is there any success stories or
Yes.
advantages?
Yes.
Yeah.
One of it is that my participants during the study, they said like, come on, when are you going to go back to Indonesia and then bring this wave of change? We need you. As the participants, let's say, they got the impact because I was there and then doing this and that with them, talking with them. But then when I go back here, let's say to Darwin, and then I ask them, while they are having, engaging with the project to do this and that, let's say they implement the strategic plans. Some of them made it, some of them did not really made it, but then yes, they aware that we need the change. We need the change. They feel stressed as well with what has happened in the field, but then they don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's give a big applause to Amanda. Thank you.